Hi, welcome to Quick Business Tips. I'm Jennifer Swineford, founder of Limitless Impact Agency, and this is the podcast for service-based business owners who want to grow their business without losing the heart behind it. Every week, I'm bringing you real practical strategies on marketing, sales, and customer experience. No fluff, no hustle culture nonsense, just what works. So let's get into it. I have a confession to make as we start today's episode. As a full-time marketing professional for the last 26 years, I've been helping service business owners show up, become more visible, and build brands that attract the right clients. This is what I do for a living. But for a long time, longer than I care to admit, I was hiding behind my social media business page. I was posting to my Facebook business page, my Instagram business page, sharing tips, wins, and showing up very consistently as my brand. But my personal profile was pretty much crickets because I had convinced myself that my business was the brand and that Jennifer as a human being didn't need to be a part of that story. The problem was I was giving advice to my clients that I knew was solid advice, but I wasn't willing to take it myself. So eventually, with a lot of skepticism and reluctance, and honestly, zero confidence that would make any difference in my business, I decided to take my own advice. I gave myself 90 days and committed to showing up on my personal profiles for social media. And I fully expected nothing to happen in my business. But in less than 2 weeks, I had cold yet qualified inbound leads. These were complete strangers, people who didn't know me, yet they found me on social media. They reached out and they became clients. Now, it's important that I'm very clear that these are not the typical results. I'm not going to stand here and tell you that if you post on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, or TikTok for 2 weeks, your calendar will suddenly be full. That's not at all what I'm saying. What I am saying is that something shifted the moment I stopped hiding behind my logo. And that internal shift, that decision that I made to show up as a human being and not a brand, that's all we're going to talk about in today's episode. So first, let's talk about why it's difficult to do this, because I don't think for most people that it's laziness or fear of technology. I think it's something far more specific. Most business leaders and salespeople, especially in the trades, real estate and home services, were taught that professionalism means keeping your personal life separate from your business. You show up, you do the work, and the results speak for themselves. Then we add a layer on top of that, which is the way that most people think about personal branding. And that tends to be the whole influencer marketing with ring lights, carefully curated content calendars, dancing trends, and viral videos. The whole thing feels kind of gross. So when someone tells a contractor, realtor, landscaper that they need to build a personal brand, a lot of times what they're hearing is you need to become someone that you're not for social media. You need to perform for the internet and turn your life into content. It's no wonder they don't want to do this. But here's what I want you to take away from today. That vision of personal branding, the influencer marketing, you don't have to do that. In fact, it almost never gets sales. What you do want to do is something so much simpler and more sustainable. And it starts with understanding what a personal brand really is. So here's my definition. It's super simple. Your personal brand is what people think of when they think of you. That's all there is to it. Your personal brand is not your aesthetic, your follower count, not whether you post reels or stories or write long form content or have your own podcast. It's what people think of when they hear your name. Are you the contractor who communicates better than any other contractor? The realtor who fights for the first-time homebuyer? The landscaper who transforms spaces that have been neglected for years into places that families love hanging out? Your personal brand already exists. The question is, are you shaping it intentionally, or are you leaving it up to chance? And this is why your personal brand matters more for service-based businesses than almost any other industry. It's simply because people hire people. They're not hiring the logos. They're not hiring the business. They're hiring the person when you are a service-based business. Because when someone is about to invite a crew into their home for 6 weeks, or if they're going to trust an agent with their biggest financial decision, or they're going to hand over their outdoor space to a landscaper when they themselves do not know what they're doing with landscaping, they want to know who they're dealing with. And that's a human being. It's not a brand. They want to feel like they already know you as a service-based business person, whether you are in sales or you're an owner. They want to make sure that they know you a little bit before they even invite you in to see the project, to scope it, to give them a quote, before they pick up the phone. And your personal brand is where they get that feeling. But if you're invisible online, they're not going to get any feeling at all because they're not looking at your business page. I'm going to share a little bit more of my own story because I think it's important to get some of the details. For years, I ran a marketing company and I ran it as the brand. It had a presence, it had content, the business showed up, and I told myself that was enough because I was really a behind the scenes person. I was the strategist. I was the one helping other people become visible. Somewhere along the line in my own head, I had decided that my job was to shine the spotlight on my clients and not on myself. And something felt good and right about that, maybe even noble. But deep down inside, I knew it was just an excuse. Because the real truth was showing up as Jennifer felt vulnerable in a way that showing up as a business didn't. The brand itself could absorb criticism with a shrug. Jennifer couldn't, or at least that's what I told myself. So I kept giving my clients advice that I was not taking action on. Then one day, I couldn't deal with the hypocrisy anymore. I gave myself 90 days, a true commitment, not a goal, just a commitment. I was going to show up on my personal profile consistently for 90 days, just to prove to myself that it wouldn't make a difference in my business. I genuinely expected 90 days where I would be completely wasting my time. that I was spending on my social media. Not because I didn't think it was a good strategy for other people. Obviously, I did. I had seen it work for clients time and time again. But even for marketers, everything's different when it comes to you. It's always feel different for you. I hear clients say all the time, yes, I understand that this works for other people. I understand that you have stories that prove that, but my business is different. Now, it's important to note that I didn't overhaul my entire online presence. I didn't hire a photographer or build a content calendar or develop a detailed posting strategy with color-coded categories. I just started talking like a person talking to another person. I pictured my clients before they started working with me. I shared what I was thinking, what I was seeing in other client work I was doing, maybe a lesson I'd learned in my own business the hard way, something that frustrated me about about the way that marketing gets taught to service-based business owners. Real things in my real voice, posted to my personal profile. Now, in less than 2 weeks, I started getting DMs. First was a person I never met who found me through a post and said, I feel like you're talking to me. Can we talk about working together? And they became a client. Now, I said this at the beginning, and it's really important that I say it again. I do not share this story with you as a promise or even hoping that you'll set the same expectation that this will happen for you. It typically doesn't. Most people post for 6 months before they really start noticing a difference. Some people never get cold inbound leads that are qualified. And that's okay because your personal brand is going to build trust, not just with cold leads, but warm leads too. They're going to be reminders for clients and friends and that you do what you do and you do it so well. But the real important part of my story is the moment that I made the decision to stop hiding, everything changed. Not just in my business, but also how I was showing up for my clients, how I talked about the work I was doing, how I thought about the business I was building. Because visibility tends to clarify things. And clarity is what we've been talking about over and over and over in this podcast. It's where everything starts. So now I want to get practical and help you if you are making the decision to show up online as yourself and not as a performance artist. And I really hope that you will. There are 3 things that your personal brand needs to communicate, and you don't need any special lighting or other equipment to do it. Number 1, you need to get clear about what you stand for. This isn't your mission statement or your company values that you're pulling from a website. You need to think about what you really stand for, what you defend in a conversation as it has to do with your business, and what gets you passionate, fired up. For me, it's the whole hustle culture because I believe that you don't have to hustle to build a great business. You can build one without sacrificing your health, your relationships, and more importantly, your integrity. And I will talk about this till I am blue in the face. And the best part is that when I do, it attracts the kind of client that I love working with. So take a minute and think about what you stand for. What do you believe about how your clients should be treated? How your industry operates, whether it's you think it's good or you think it's bad, and how maybe it should change. And what does work done well look like for you from a personal standpoint? Start there. There is so much content there. Step number 2 is what you know. because you have expertise that the people who need your help don't have. And when you share it, and when you share it generously, consistently, without holding back, that's one of the most powerful trust building moves you can make. When a contractor posts a 30-second video explaining 3 questions that everybody should ask before hiring a remodeler, the video works for them 24/7. Every person who watches it thinks I didn't know that. And they just moved one step closer to calling that remodeler. You don't have to give away the whole business. Knowing what to ask a contractor is not going to help someone get their kitchen remodeled. And the fear of giving away too much is almost always blown out of proportion. Because sharing what you know doesn't turn you into a commodity. It demonstrates that you're the expert worth paying for. So think about it. What things do you know that your clients are asking you on repeat that you could share on social media and help other people who want to ask the same questions, but maybe don't even know who to ask? Now, number 3, tell people what it's like when they work with you. And this one is really underrated. It's the one that requires the most personal in your brand, the most you to communicate what it's like to work with you. Are you the kind of person who sends updates before the clients ask for it? Who tells someone the hard truth, even when it would be easier to keep your mouth shut? Maybe you're the type of person who stays late because you said you would get this done on time. Or you're the person who remembers that your client's daughter is getting married in the middle of their renovation and you ask them how the wedding went. Those things are the little details that combine to make up what it's like to work with you. And that is what builds deep trust and closes deals before you even know that people are looking at your work. And you can communicate this part of you without oversharing, without performing, and without becoming someone who you're just not. But you have to be willing to show up. Now, I want to talk a little bit about the platforms because this is a question that I get a lot. And my answer always, every single time, is start where you're already spending time. So if you're already spending time on LinkedIn, whether it's posting or reading other people's posts, start there. If you're already on Facebook, even if you're kind of more social stalking when it comes to Facebook, start there. Or if you're scrolling through Instagram or TikTok every day, whatever it is, that's where you want to start. Pick one platform that you're comfortable with, where you're already spending time, even if you're not posting on that platform, because the platform matters a whole lot less than your consistency. And the mistake that I see people make over and over again is that they try to be everywhere all at once. And that's the fastest path to burnout. And it does not speed up your results. So pick one platform, show up there consistently, which means at least 5 days a week for 90 days and see what happens. And again, I'm not going to go into the details of all this, but this is not posting a ghosting. You have to interact with people as much as you are posting. Once you've done it for 90 days, take a look at your results and see if you want to expand to other platforms or double down on what you're doing on the platform that you're on. And when you do post, keep it simple. This doesn't need to be a whole professional production. You don't need a content calendar. You don't need color-coded categories. You just need to say something authentic because you're a real human being talking to other real human beings using your real human being voice. You can talk about a lesson you learned this week, a behind the scenes moment from your job, a question that you keep getting asked and you want to give someone the real answer to. Or you can even share a mistake you made and how you would do it differently now. Because authentic beats polished every time, especially when you're in a service-based business. And it's going to attract the clients that you really want to work with. Now I'm going to close with something a little bit more personal. I spent years, let's be honest, decades hiding, not just online, but in a more general sense. I like to keep the spotlight off myself. And when I let my work speak for itself and I stayed quiet about the person doing it, I felt comfortable. And there's a version of humility that I respect completely. I don't think you need to become a braggart. You don't need to broadcast every thought you have or turn your life into an Insta reel. But since I started posting several years ago, I've also become more certain that in hiding from the spotlight, you're also keeping your gifts, your experience, the perspective, everything that you've built hidden as well. And that doesn't serve anyone. That doesn't serve you. It certainly doesn't serve the clients who need your help. It doesn't serve the people in your industry who need to see that it's possible to do the work that you do with integrity and build something really successful. When you show up as yourself, this isn't vanity, it's not ego, it can be an act of generosity. So if you've been hiding, even if you've just been hiding a little, or if you've been hiding behind a really nice business page, I want to give you this gentle nudge to stop hiding. Take the next 90 days and show up as the real you, and let's just see what happens. Now, if this is something you've been thinking about and you know that you want help figuring out your personal brand, what you should say, how to show up in a way that feels like you and doesn't suck the life out of you, this is the type of work I absolutely love doing with clients. You can use the link in the show notes below to schedule a free strategy session or visit limitlessimpactagency.com. And if this episode resonated with you, especially if you're someone who's been hiding behind your business page or just hiding completely, I would love for you to share this with one other person who you know needs to hear it too. Because sometimes we just need someone to tell us it's okay to show up for your clients and for yourself. If something landed for you today, I would be so appreciative if you'd share this episode with one person in your world who needs to hear it, because that's how this show will grow. And I am so grateful for every single share that is made. If you're ready to take what you learned today and put it into work to grow your business, I would absolutely love to talk to you. You can use the link in the show notes or visit limitlessimpactagency.com to schedule your free strategy session. We'll figure out exactly where you need to focus first, but until next week, go do something amazing.